We all know the pop culture myth of Las Vegas. We picture cheap steak dinners, complimentary hotel rooms, and the dangerous mob era. But if you visit the Las Vegas Strip today, you are met with a very different, highly sterile reality. Modern tourists are squeezed at every possible turn. You are hit with mandatory $60 daily resort fees, $25 parking charges, $87 buffet lines, and 6 to 5 blackjack payouts. 6 to 5 blackjack is a version where you're paid $6 for every 5 bet on a natural blackjack, which is significantly less than the traditional 3 to 2 payout. For decades, the public was sold a promise. If we replaced the mob with publicly traded Wall Street corporations, the industry would achieve economies of scale. Economies of scale occur when a company grows so large that its per-unit costs drop. We were told this efficiency would lead to better resorts and lower costs for the consumer. To understand why modern Las Vegas actually monetized every single cent, we have to trace the evolution of capital in the desert. We need to look closely at how Wall Street replaced the syndicate as the ultimate house. Back in the 1950s, Las Vegas was mostly just a dusty highway. Traditional banks completely refused to lend money to build casinos because they considered gambling to be an illicit, high-risk enterprise. Organized crime syndicates stepped right into this financial void. They used the Teamsters Pension Fund, a multi-billion-dollar retirement pool for union truck drivers, to bankroll the construction of early iconic resorts. The syndicate operated on a very simple business model. They intentionally lost money on cheap hotel rooms and $2 dinners. Those were loss leaders, designed specifically to get players into the building and onto a packed gaming floor. The real money was made through the skim. Mob associates would walk into the counting rooms and stuff suitcases with untraceable cash before it was ever recorded for taxes. They funneled hundreds of millions in tax-free profit back to crime families in the Midwest and on the East Coast. The foundational rule of this era was that the casino was merely a front for illicit cash extraction. Because operators needed a high volume of foot traffic to hide laundering, the average consumer actually benefited from a heavily subsidized vacation. That dynamic began to shift in 1966 when billionaire Howard Hughes arrived in town. He went on a casino buying spree that acted as a catalyst to legitimize the industry to the outside world. But there was still a significant legal barrier keeping institutional money out of the desert. State laws required every single individual shareholder of a casino to pass a rigorous background check. Because publicly traded corporations have thousands of constantly changing shareholders, they were effectively banned from operating in Nevada. That roadblock was eliminated by the Corporate Gaming Act of 1967. This law removed the burdensome shareholder licensing requirement and opened the floodgates to institutional investors. Legitimate hospitality brands like Hilton and MGM could now pump substantial amounts of Wall Street capital into the desert. The syndicates simply could not compete with that scale of corporate financing. This legislative pivot shifted casino ownership from a few shadowy individuals to expansive, faceless shareholder lists. It set the stage for the complete industrialization of sin. By the 1980s, the cost to construct a world-class resort had skyrocketed, far beyond what traditional corporate cash flows could cover. Casino developer Steve Wynn partnered with Michael Milken to utilize high-yield junk bonds to finance the $630 million construction of the Mirage. Junk bonds are high-interest corporate loans used by companies that cannot get traditional financing from standard banks. Servicing that corporate debt burden changed the Vegas business model. The non-gaming amenities could no longer be subsidized loss leaders. The hotel rooms, the high-end restaurants, and the retail shops all had to become standalone profit centers to pay back the bondholders. Throughout the 1990s, an explosion of diversified mega-resorts copied this exact high-debt, high-revenue blueprint. The free Vegas experience died right here. To appease Wall Street, executives were forced to squeeze profit margins out of every single department. By the late 90s and early 2000s, a buying frenzy took over the Strip. Giants like MGM and Caesars bought up nearly everything in sight to form large corporate conglomerates. The CEOs made a clear promise to their investors and to state regulators. These billion-dollar mergers would create super companies with unmatched profit margins and operational efficiency. This chart shows the financial reality between 2004 and 2008. Rather than achieving promised efficiencies, net revenues stayed stagnant, while total debt and administrative expenses skyrocketed to fund real estate acquisitions. Here are the stock prices for major operators like MGM, Wynn, and Las Vegas Sands peaking in late 2007. But those theoretical economies of scale soon vanished into heavy interest payments. By March 2009, stock prices plummeted to near zero bottoms, wiping out shareholder value. Instead of creating a consumer utopia, corporate consolidation left the Strip bloated and debt-saddled, with landlords desperate to claw back revenue through hidden fees and degraded gaming odds. The rudimentary counting rooms of the mob era are gone. Today's casino floor is hyper-surveilled, algorithmically tracking every embedded chip and player movement. The illegal skim is dead. It has been entirely replaced by legal extraction, leveraging data to tweak blackjack payouts and institute inescapably high resort fees to widen corporate margins. The final form of Vegas financialization is the asset-light model. The industry separated the casino operators who manage the games from the real estate investment trusts, or REITs. REITs are companies that own and operate income-producing real estate. The famous casino brands no longer own their buildings. They pay rent to real estate trusts. Meanwhile, their corporate stock is largely controlled by institutional index funds like Vanguard and BlackRock. Las Vegas wasn't morally better under the mob, but economically, the syndicates subsidized your vacation just to launder their cash. Today, the house is an S&P 500 algorithm. Wall Street never gives anything away for free.